I grew up in Missouri. I was raised in St. Charles, Missouri. Then I actually lived down and pastored a church down here in Cuba, Missouri, which we'll pass in about 50 miles, and built a lot of houses in Sullivan, Missouri. Had a good business there for years. Right now we're coming out of St. Louis, the kind of areas we like to buy mobile home parks that are 15, 20, 30 minutes right outside of the city. So we're in a good area. This is Eureka. We just passed Six Flags. It's a pretty desirable area, and there's a lot of, in Franklin County right here, there's a lot of mobile home parks. And so it's easy for me to come back in this area and know a little bit more about the market. Some of you that are looking at markets right in your area, that's pretty good because you know the area. Let me say this though, you better know it better than you think you do, and you better know the areas that you're working better than a realtor or someone else you're working with.
A lot of my background goes back to myself and Tiffany both in the real estate company, because we own a real estate company, and also in construction. It makes a big help for us as we walk into these projects and look at the projects. We know what needs to be renovated, what the cost is of some of that renovation. We know a little bit about financing, we know about finding the properties and looking up the properties. Myself and Tiffany, both our parents, my father and her father both, have just really pushed us to be aggressive in our work ethics. That means get up early, work hard, and to do what we're doing, it does take work. Now it pays off unbelievable dividends, but it's awesome to have that training as you're in your early years of making you who you are, and now that coming out into fruition because of the training that's got.
You got to understand, anybody can do this. My dad is 72 years old. He's in great shape because he's doing something instead of retirement. Some of you are sitting in the crowd, you're 60, you say, I don't want to do trailers. I'm telling you, my dad is doing a phenomenal job here. He's done 14 trailers in the past 13 months, and he just keeps doing it. He's retired. He was sitting at home doing nothing. He's got something that's filling up his life now, and he's excited about doing it. You get out there, you do the same thing. Decide to make a difference in your life, and I think mobile homes are a way to do it.
One of the things that I feel are really important when you're doing a search for a mobile home or a mobile home park is a couple. One is, I want it 50 miles or less from a large city of 50,000 or more. So I call it the 50-50 rule, 50 miles or less from 50,000. Then the other is 25-25 rule. I want 25% of the population to make less than $25,000 a year. One of my greatest research assistants. She found the property on Craigslist, said it's a foreclosure, you should call them right away. I called the bank that morning, and of course 9 days later we own the property.
Now we bought this park to turn around and sell it, so it's a flip park, but until we get ready to sell it, we're gonna make a little bit of money every month. I don't know about you, but I like making money while I'm waiting to make more money. And that's the goal that we bought this park on. It has a lot of things to show you that are good. The ins and outs is things that you better know when you buy a park. How can I get out of it? What can I do during the meantime? You better know the area and the things that are good. So we're gonna go through the park and show you as if you walked for the first time in a park. You're learning exactly what to look for, every item that's important. And we're going to try to make it where you can buy any park and anywhere in America.
Now, I purchased this and owned it 15 days before I saw it. The problem was, when I went to the city, you had to be licensed in the city, and you had to do this and you had to do that. Well, I went there on a Friday night at 4 o'clock, and they told me you can't get a license in the city unless you sign for it personally, but the lady that does the signing for the property is not here today, you're going to have to come back Monday. The problem was, on Sunday, I was flying 4,000 miles away from that property, and by Sunday night, Monday morning, I would be back in Hawaii. There was no way I could sign the paper. So we have that problem. We cannot get these papers signed. I don't know what to do. We go eat pizza that night, and a guy in the back that is the cook at Pizza Inn in Salem, I go and talk to him because he made me this crazy pizza that I asked for, and I was thanking him, and I said, man, if I ever need something in this town, I ought to have a guy like you to call. He gave me his phone number. I said, listen, I have something you can do immediately. So Saturday morning, I went back and met him at the pizza place, went to a notary, got a power of attorney for 1 day for him to sign for the Finest Place 5 for their water meters and for their city license. I paid him $20. He drove 2 miles, he signed the papers, everything was done, everything was fine. I now have a licensed park in Salem, Missouri, thanks to the pizza guy. And you step in these classes and you go, this is awesome. And then you walk out. It was awesome because we were shouting on stage, and I was up there being ugly, and Tiffany was like reining me in and making me kind, and we were talking about how to do it, and we were right there in front of you, and you had all the questions answered that you thought you had. Then you jump out there, and let's say you just buy a trailer. All of a sudden you have 1,000 questions. Who pays for the electric? How do you turn on the water? Where do you get this? All those things come up. Having somebody that was there with you, having a partner or somebody believes in you, that really helps. It mostly helps in motivation. I think the success that will come on every person that's in this room today will be because of success of motivation. You can't always motivate yourself. And I teach people one of the best thing to do is motivate yourself better than anybody else. Because you look at yourself in the mirror every day, I am my best motivator. But my second best motivator outside of me is my wife. She became my team member. It doesn't have to be your wife. You say, well, I'm single. Then I'd find a friend that wants to make money and wants to go crazy and have a whole changed life. And you tell them what you're going to do. You bring them the classes with you and you learn and get the training that you need to make it happen. And then you push each other every day. What are you doing for real estate today? I have about 6 men that call me every week. And I ask them, what are you doing? What are you doing? Kevin and I, Kevin Reynolds that you saw in the video, we push each other. What did you do today? How many deals did you turn off? How are you working? What's happening? We stay after each other. And I think that motivation, you're in this class with 200 people. Get to know somebody, build a relationship, and push each other to be successful with this. Let me say this about those who are doubting and thinking, boy, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if this will work. I'm living proof that it works. I trained right where you're sitting. I learned from the guys that are on stage going to be teaching you this week. It will work. Here's the problem. Everybody goes to classes to learn how to swim, but you can't ever be successful in swimming until you jump in the water. The way you're going to do this in real estate is to jump in. Let me tell you, the water's fine and it's an awesome place to be.